So you're a small business wondering if a 3PL or a fulfillment center for your e-commerce company is right for you. In this video, we're going to walk through all of the things you should be looking for, if you need one at all, and how to find one. So with all that, let's go ahead and jump in. My name is Brennan, and I run and operate a e-commerce fulfillment 3PL in Portland, Oregon. I myself was an e-commerce seller for the last 10 years, and we still own and operate our own brands, but we also now operate a 3PL. So I get a lot of the things coming from the brand side. I've been on the brand side, I've talked to 3PLs, I've worked with other 3PLs, and now being on the 3PL side, you get kind of a unique perspective as to everything that goes into it. So my goal with this video is to fill in the gaps of anything you may or may not know, and just at the end of this, come out with a better understanding of what a 3PL is, when it's useful, and if it's useful for you. So first off, let's talk about what is a 3PL. Well, 3PL stands for third-party logistics. This can mean a variety of things. This could be anyone who arranges the logistics of someone's stuff on behalf of another company. In the context of what you hear mostly in the e-commerce world, a 3PL is a fulfillment center. So think you send product to this warehouse, they stock it, put it into inventory, and then as orders come in, they pick, package, ship those orders. That's the super high level of what that works, but if you hear the word 3PL, that in the context of e-commerce is what it is. So why did 3PLs exist in the first place? Well, 3PLs were started mainly because as an e-commerce brand owner, there is so many things going on, and a lot of the times you're dealing with everything. Now, one of those things is shipping. If you're spending 3, 4, 5 hours a day shipping, eventually you're gonna end up having to hire someone else, and you're wasting all of your time on the shipping when maybe you could be spending that on growing the business or doing whatever else it is. And so that's where 3PLs come in. They provide this sort of unlimited scale, which is fantastic because the other part about if you're doing your own shipping and let's say you hire someone, right? Well, now you have to get a lease, which is usually 3 years minimum. It's personally backed. There's definitely some risk there. You also have to manage the people, and if your guy who's shipping your stuff calls out sick, that's on you. You have to go. Your orders can't not go out. And so part of what you pay for and what the 3PL actually provides is this kind of like unlimited redundancy in terms of you do not even have to think about it. You just know that your packages are going to go out and it doesn't have to be a second thought. Especially for smaller businesses where they might not have the resources to open up a warehouse. They might not know all of the things that go with that. 3PLs fill a great gap there because someone who's just starting a company or is just in the growth stages can go, okay, I want to work with the 3PL, outsource all of this fulfillment for now. I can work on growing the company. And you know what? Maybe one day I'll come back and look at, do we want to bring this in-house? But what I see a lot of the time is running a 3PL is a totally different skill set than a successful e-commerce brand. There's lots of people who have done both, but it's a very different business that is very, very operationally heavy. Whereas traditionally, your e-commerce companies are a lot of marketing, right? And if you spend all that time and energy now trying to just get operations to function, it's really hard to go back and forth. The other big thing that 3PLs can do are, as a newer-ish company or someone who might not have the volume to go play ball with UPS and FedEx and get these really aggressive shipping rates, the 3PL gets the volume of all of its customers. And so we, as a 3PL, are able to go negotiate more aggressive shipping rates on the behalf of our clients and pass that along. Whereas with a small business, that's definitely just not something you would be able to get. Even for our own brands, for the first 5 years of us shipping our own packages, we had nowhere even enough volume for them to talk to us. And it wasn't even until we started the 3PL that we got our full own rate card. The other advantage for small businesses when starting and deciding if they want to work with one is usually the fulfillment center is going to bring a ton of knowledge to the table that you might not have initially. Things about how to pack things, where most efficiently to get your products labeled and barcoded, how they should be arriving from the supplier, understanding how those things go into inventory, and how maybe the way you sell things in certain packs or bundles affects the cost of shipping it, right? These are all things that most good 3PLs are going to work with you to improve upon. And I know in our case, like, we work with customers all the time to be like, hey, we see you're doing X, Y, and Z. If you just tweak this or change this, here's how you could save a bunch of money by packaging this more efficiently, asking your supplier to do this. There's all these little things that you would never even know about. And probably if you're running your own fulfillment operation, would be running pretty inefficiently because of this. Like 3PLs are centers of operational excellence, the way I think about it. And so I think that you gain a ton of knowledge just by working with a 3PL, because one day, even if you go back in-house, you're gonna be like, oh, we did this for X, Y, and Z reason. And you're almost in some way gaining a ton of knowledge just by working with a 3PL in the first place. So up until now, we've talked about reasons why 3PLs are great for small businesses. And I think that they are, but not in all cases. There are definitely scenarios where you should just stick to doing your own self-fulfillment. In scenarios where maybe you are getting products or pieces from multiple manufacturers and have to do some light manufacturing, put things together, bundle them, ship them in a special way, most 3PLs are not going to want to deal with that, because as a 3PL, you have to have very standardized process because you have 100 customers and they all have to get picked, packed, and shipped daily. So throwing in these weird processes is really hard for a 3PL to be able to standardize and offer and do a good job with customers. And so in those cases, it's typically better for you to just continue self-fulfilling. You also get some other things from this. One of the things no one talks about, but you do get, is you get content. Shipping content is actually fantastic when it comes to performing on ads. The videos of people packing warehouse boxes, it does well for whatever reason. So you get access to that if you're shipping it yourself. Just a random little aside that no one ever thinks about. The other thing you get back is the control. And this is important because especially in the early days of a brand, maybe you want to throw a handwritten note in some customer's box. You can do these things with the 3PL, but they just require a lot more process and are probably going to be more expensive. Now, on the topic of expenses, I think this is something that's so important to understand when considering whether to work with the 3PL or not. On paper, 3PL pricing may feel more expensive than your self-fulfillment, but there are all of these costs that are not necessarily considered or you're even being charged for by the 3PL that I think are worth mentioning. First off, you have the lease, which is usually at least a 3-year lease for commercial space, and a lot of the times it's going to be personally backed. So there's definitely some risk associated with doing that in the first place. If something went wrong, you couldn't just close shop tomorrow. You would have this lease that you are personally guaranteed to pay for. Another piece is labor. So let's say you have one guy, maybe you get to the point where you can hire someone to come ship for you. Well, this is awesome, and he's going to take care of your orders every day, but what if they get sick? Then what? That is you. You're getting called in and you have no option but to be in that warehouse because your orders have to go out. You can't just not ship orders. Whereas with a 3PL, that is their job, is to handle the staffing and the HR and all of that stuff to make sure that there's people to ship your orders so that you never even know if 6 people are sick at the 3PL, your orders are still going out on time. And along with that, you have all of the cost of HR and employment and all of these kind of other things that I call them like soft costs that people don't actually calculate in to the cost of running a fulfillment center. But think about if you have nothing, right? And you're just gonna start shipping. You're gonna have to buy printers, labels, scales. You're gonna have to stock the inventory of the boxes. You're gonna have to figure out which boxes to order, figure out how to get good pricing on those, make sure they stay in stock. There is all these little things. Not to mention, if you're ordering from a supplier that requires pallet delivery, it's really hard to do that at some residential locations. It's possible, I've done it many times, but it is definitely difficult. So there are definitely a lot of costs that you might not be thinking about that come along with self-fulfillment. So it's not right for everyone. It definitely is right for some people, and it just depends on the brand specifically or what you're shipping or what your business is. It's just important to look at all these different points when evaluating, should you work with the 3PL, should you do self-fulfillment, or what's the right path forward. So let's say you've decided you want to work with a 3PL. How do you find one? There are so many different types and specialized 3PLs that do different things, and so finding one that's a good fit for you I think is really important, because if you're able to get a good one up front, it's gonna save you a ton of money down the road. Now, one of the first things I would do is I would ask my friends that are in a similar world or might potentially be working with one, like, is your 3PL accepting new clients? Are you happy with them? Could we potentially be a good fit for them? I found that some of the best 3PLs might not be super flashy online in terms of things, but you generally find these via referrals, asking around to see what other people are having a good experience with. Reddit is also a good place to check. I know there are tons of threads that go back years about good fulfillment companies for whatever, so I always find that's a good place to look as well. Maybe you need one locally. I would check locally, and the one thing I just warn everyone about is if you're just searching generic stuff on Google, a lot of the top 10, 20, 30 search terms are owned by these huge companies with giant marketing budgets that might not actually be the best fit for you, but they just kind of dominate and drown out the noise of everyone else. And I've always found that the ones that are getting drowned out typically end up to be the best partners to work with. That's not to say that some of the larger name 3PLs aren't a good fit, but in our time running Nitro, we have taken on so many brands that have left one of those for a variety of reasons. But typically what I've seen is those sorts of 3PLs, it's really difficult to make work unless your product is really standardized and there's like no exceptions at all. In which case, it's very possible they could work, and it's definitely worth it. Again, like, check these things out, but that's just been kind of the general consensus of what I've seen in the market. So let's say maybe you've now found a couple 3PLs you want to reach out to and potentially discuss a partnership with. Typically, the way that's going to work is they're going to ask you a couple questions, usually average number of SKUs, average monthly order volume, what marketplaces you sell, and just some basic information so that they can get an understanding of, first off, are we going to be a good fit at all? And that's because from the 3PL side, if someone came to us and were like, hey, we're shipping tires, I'm immediately going to be like, hey, probably not a great fit for us, but maybe I can introduce you to 2 or 3 other 3PLs that could potentially be a good fit. Just not something we do. First off, we want to figure out, like, are we even going to be able to help you at all, right? And secondly, we're going to want to put together a quote that's usually based around your sort of product profile is what I like to think about. Are you shipping a ton of small things, a few small things, huge things? Understanding what that profile of products looks like is important for us so we can give you an accurate quote. So let's say you get some quotes from a couple different 3PLs and you want to compare them. Bad news is they are super hard to compare. 3PLs are just known for no one has the same structured pricing. Everyone has fees built differently. And we're going to walk through what a couple of the kind of like top categories are, but everyone's pricing sheets are really hard to compare apples to apples. So what I always recommend is ask them to model out what this pricing sheet would look like compared to like your last 30 days of orders, or potential, like I had someone the other day ask if I could run it against what 100 orders of this and 100 orders of this would look like. So that then you can take your total cost and run it as a comparison against different 3PLs if you are comparing, because it's really difficult to just look at one price sheet versus the other and know which one's going to be a better fit. So 3PL fees, what are they? What are the categories? How do they work? First, you have a pick and pack cost, and this is the cost to actually pick that order and pack it into a box and send it out. Think of this as kind of the labor component. This also ties into the cost of packaging, which some 3PLs will keep separate. At our 3PL, we charge boxes totally separate from the pick and pack fees. Some 3PLs build the box and materials into that. It just depends, which again is why I said you should ask for a month's worth of data that this pricing can be applied to get a better idea. But that is also another fee that you may or may not have depending if it's built in or not. Then your next and really the most expensive fee typically is going to be some sort of postage fee. So this is whatever FedEx or UPS is going to charge your 3PL to ship that package, they're going to charge you for because they were charged for it originally. Sometimes 3PLs build all-in structures where maybe they combine the pick fees and the postage fees. So all you need to know is how much does this package weigh and how far is it going? For some scenarios, it's actually really helpful because you're able to predict a lot better versus trying to combine like 7 different line items to figure out what an order would cost. And your cost of fulfillment becomes slightly more predictable at somewhat of a trade-off of you get this all one-in cost. So I've totally seen both. Every 3PL is just a little bit different. And then almost all 3PLs are going to charge you some sort of storage fee to store your pallets, and usually per bin. So the two ways that those are typically billed are either per location. So think it's going to cost $10 a month for a pallet and $2 a month for a bin, or some charge based off of the cubic dimensions of your products, so that you're really being charged for the exact amount of space that it takes up. One common question we get with storage pricing is when is it actually calculated? In our case, we calculate ours and prorate it daily. I think a lot of 3PLs end up doing that. Some just do a count at the end of the month, but it's something to be aware of because if you're a super drop-based thing, let's say you have 100 pallets that come in and they're gonna go right back out, well, you wouldn't wanna get charged 100 pallets for the whole month if they were there for like 2 days. Now, a lot of people run into issues with these unknown fees when it comes to working with 3PLs, and I've heard some real horror stories, which is why I think working with the right person is so important, but understanding what all the potential fees could be. Do they have onboarding fees? Is there ongoing tech fees? Is there ongoing customer support fees? I've seen all the stuff under the sun, and again, this is just because everyone's pricing is different, but understanding, am I getting charged when I receive pallets in? Are they gonna charge me if the pallet's damaged? There are so many different ways that I've seen brands nickeled and dimed by 3PLs, and I think a lot of that can be resolved by just having a really clear contract and pricing agreement up front and asking those questions about scenarios. One other giant recommendation I always tell people is ask your 3PL to talk to a reference, at least one, maybe two. I think it's a really good indicator, because also being on the e-com side and having to do your own books, like making sure that you're able to assign the fulfillment cost correctly is helpful. I know one of the main things that we get asked for during the pricing process is what does a bill look like? How am I able to analyze this? What sort of tools do we get around that? And so I think those are all kind of important things to note as well, just because pricing is obviously such a critical factor of actually choosing a 3PL to go with. Now, how do you actually figure out which 3PL is going to be right for you? You've maybe talked to a couple, got a couple pricing quotes, and kind of learned the ins and outs of how each of them work. Well, how do you actually decide which one is right for you? Obviously, pricing plays probably the biggest role here, I think. But one thing to note, like I said, is look at those monthly estimates, because what I have found in my experience is a lot of the 3PLs, whether they're big, whether they're small, all come out to somewhat of a roughly similar cost at the end of the day, and it comes down to who do you want to work with and who do you think is going to be a good partner and have your back for when you need it later and need that quality support and need to get a hold of someone to fix something. Who is going to be able to do that? And again, it's just totally different for every business depending on your size, type of products you sell, but I always find the fulfillment cost kind of all evens out at the end of the day, roughly. So let's say you've now chosen the 3PL, you want to move forward. How do you actually do that? Well, there's a couple different ways. The most common and simplest way I've seen is brand sends 3PL 80% of their inventory, or maybe it's their next huge PO that's coming in. But basically, brand sends product to warehouse, most of it. Their existing fulfillment operations will continue to run until all of that inventory is received and put into a location at the warehouse, and in their system that's going to show you what inventory you have and everything says like, we are good, we can ship this. Until that happens, brand continues to fulfill. Now that the 3PL has this, you pick some date, flip the switch, let the 3PL start taking over fulfillment, and then you can send the remaining quantity in. If you're a new brand, you just send your initial product there and you're totally fine. But if you are already running fulfillment operations and don't want those to get all messed up, send 80%, let them get it into inventory, and then you can proceed with moving the actual orders to be processed in that 3PL. Now, some red flags that I would just keep in the back of my head just in case they come up. The main one, honestly, is just communication. What does the process for just working with them to get a quote and answering your questions look like? Are they responsive? Are they nice? Are they people you would potentially want to work with? If you have a 3PL that just starts ignoring your emails and won't reply and it takes 3 days to get a hold of someone, it's probably going to be indicative of the experience you would have with them should you work with them for fulfillment. And so it's probably something to just be aware of. Potential red flag, not always, totally depends on the size of the company and again, the specifics of the situation, but just in my experience, usually it's a pretty good indicator. Like I mentioned earlier, another huge one is just hidden costs. There are tons of ways that you can get nickeled and dimed, and so making sure that you understand what those are, and even better if the 3PL doesn't do that in the first place, but just understanding. And again, like if you do a reference call, that's something I always would ask is, how's the billing been? Are you comfortable with how you've seen the fees come across? Have there been unexpected things? Those sorts of questions, I think, again, just talk to a reference. If they come up, then address them with the 3PL, but something to be aware of. So those are a lot of the things that I would be thinking about. 3PLs can be life-changing for a business. They can remove the fulfillment burden and let you grow the company. They also can totally end in a nightmare if not managed properly and getting with the right partner. So I think it's something to just be super thoughtful about. Do it right the first time and you'll be totally good. But that's how it all works. Like I said, we own and operate a 3PL in Portland. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop a comment below. Hopefully this was helpful. I hope that it helps a lot of brands go out there and find a great partner to work with, because nothing makes me happier than seeing an awesome brand 3PL partnership. I really think it's great. If you are a brand looking for fulfillment, feel free to check out our website. You can send us an email and ask for a quote there, and maybe we're a fit. And if we're not a fit, it's very likely I know someone who is probably a much better fit and you might not find online. So yeah, feel free to let me know if you guys have any questions at all. Give us a like, helps us out. And yeah, until then, happy shipping.